All right, we are back. We got a very special edition for you. We have a special guest. He is a drummer extraordinaire. He is a songwriter, producer, engineer, and the force behind the group Leatherwolf. Please welcome Dean Roberts.
Hey, everybody. How's it all going, man?
Good to see you, Dean. Man, I know that you obviously enjoy this music. You've been doing it. What does the band go to? 81? When did you originally start with the band?
Well, we started in 1980, right out of high school. You know, me and Carrie started on our senior year playing, and then after we graduated, we started playing. Me and Carrie had a band, and we started playing parties and stuff. And we ran into Jeff Gayer and Jerome Severin, and just decided to play with those guys, and it was kind of cool. And we just started playing a bunch of Zeppelin and freaking Judas and Iron Maiden, and it was all good.
So now how and where did you like take it to the next level? You play in local clubs and you realize like, hey, we're good at this. We should start, coming up with original material and get in the studio and start, sending the music around, see if we can get some more clubs, some
For
more
the first
magazines.
two or 3 years, we just played parties, backyard parties, and then we started. Jeff started writing stuff. Like, I think he pretty much wrote most of the stuff for the first record, and so we started learning all that stuff. And then I was acquainted with somebody from Enigma that had a friend that had Tropical, so hooked up with him and put that first EP out. And then SPV wanted to turn it into an LP, so we added 4 songs, and then that record turned into an album, did pretty good. And then we got signed by Island and made 2 more records.
Tell us the story about Island. We know Enigma that's no longer around, the springboard for people like Striper and Poison and all that. They kind of came out of Green World Distribution down there, where Motley Crue had their first record and Great White and all that. But Island, when we think of Island, we think of Bob Marley and U2 and Traffic and, different types of stuff. Who was the A&R rep and how did it happen with Island?
Well, it just happened through Union Entertainment. Tim Heine and people he was working for, they had us play a show at what was it called? It was a place next to the Roxy. Remember, what was it called? Where the
Talking about Gazzari's?
Yeah, we played at Gazzari's. We played at Gazzari's. We got a star on the wall, and that was where we got our record deal. It was at Gazzari's with Island. Now, Island, I think the Metallica thing was just taken off and this and that. I think it was 86 or whatever. I think that they wanted to pick up like a heavier metal band, but they just didn't really have any idea of how to do it. And then we picked up Kevin Beamish to record the record, which is kind of like an REO Speedwagon thing, and he's a great producer, but I just don't think metal is his forte. And I thought Leatherwolf. I mean, for my opinion, Leatherwolf should have been a heavy metal band. Not so much glammy mixes. Just a little bit more ballsy and raw.
Sure. Yeah, I know. What was that band? Vane. They were also on Island.
There was a lot of bands on Island. They just picked up a lot of bands, and the ones that stuck, they just invested a little bit more money and made them bigger. Like Anthrax and
yeah. Who was your A&R guy? Who was the guy that brought you in?
I don't remember, but I know it was through Tim Heine from Union Entertainment.
Okay.
And Jennifer Perry was part of that whole thing too back then.
He was managing the band?
Jennifer Perry was kind of running the show back then. And she turned us on to Tim, and then we signed a deal with Tim. And so Tim pretty much ran the show from then on. But at least for the first 2 Island records. And then after we broke up, I think they were working with the remainder of the guys for a little while.
Okay. Now I know that the Street Ready album was recorded down in Bahamas, where the owner of Island had the studio down there at Compass Point.
Yeah.
What was that like? But then again, being from a beach community here in California probably wasn't as shocking as a kid from New York City or something.
It was just nice because there was no people. You could spend 24 hours a day working on music, and you're on the beach. You get fed, you get people, taking care of you, so you can just concentrate on music. So it was a really cool thing.
Mm,
We made both records there on Island.
okay. Yeah, I know. You hear the tales like AC/DC went down there and made Back in Black down there and all that. So obviously there was probably a lot of gold and platinum on the walls, I
And
assume.
I think Judas did one there, and I think Iron Maiden did one there, and
Yeah.
Wham, a bunch of poppy bands did stuff there. Like Frankie Goes to Hollywood, I think he recorded there too.
Okay.
It was a cool place. They had like 3 killer boards. It was a really good studio.
So the band was always known for the triple guitar attack, or did you start with one and add more? How did it end up being that?
Um, it started off with Carrie and Jeff, and then I think it was Jeff's idea because he went to high school with Mike and they were friends, and we couldn't find a singer, so we just started. I think that's why, just triple harmonies. So they started that thing, and then Mikey turned into the singer, and just stuck with the 3 guitar parts, which is kind of cool. So I wasn't really there when the decision was made, but I would think it had something to do with Jeff Gare, keeping it going like that.
Okay. Now, I know being involved with a label like Island, they had you play the Wacken Festival over there in Germany. Do you play other European festivals, or what are your memories of going to Wacken?
Well, that was on our own. That wasn't through Island, because that was, I think, 1999. I think
Okay.
we played that, and we
Yeah.
just got a phone call because we had like a cult following thing going. So got a phone call, went over and played the show. Back then Wacken wasn't nearly as big as it got, but it's a cool place. Those guys are really cool, and they turned it into something that's really good. Just like Bang Your Head, Horse is another cool guy that's always let us come play over there. But that was pretty much on our own. We didn't really get much help from the label. I think we played Archok. Archok had a festival out there. I think it was
Okay.
Sweden or something like that. And we played with Queen's Reich, and it was a cool gig. It was a festival. Metal Mike got us that show. God bless him, man. It was a cool gig.
Yeah, it must be a trip, being from Orange County. Next thing you know, you get off the plane and there's thousands of metalheads ready to bang their head out there.
Yeah, it was definitely cool.
Yeah, and what's great about Germany is most of the people there speak English.
Yeah,
Even though German's their first language, being a non-German speaker, you can pretty much get around,
yeah, yeah. I mean, those guys do way better with switching languages than I do.
Yeah, there's some countries you go to and it's like, 10-15% of the country speak English and everybody else is looking at you like, the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, most people over there speak like 3 languages because right next door is a different language. So I just was interested, so I would ask, hey, how many languages do you speak? Oh, I speak 3. Cool. I speak 1, and not even that great.
I know. I just interviewed. They call him Millie, the singer from Steelheart,
Yeah,
and he broke over in Asia, and he just released a new single, and he sings it in 10 different languages.
Well, that's cool.
Some of them are phonetic. I think there's like 4 languages he can speak, and because he's good at that, he can be coached, phonetically through the rest of it. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, trying to learn Chinese or Russian or something.
Well, isn't Steelheart from LA, or they're from around here, aren't they?
No, they're actually from the East Coast,
Really?
but there was a band called Steeler here, of course.
Yeah, I know. Ron Keel was this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you might be thinking of.
No, I'm thinking of Steelheart. I thought.
Okay, yeah, they were from Connecticut, but
Okay.
he lives here now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went to Japan, and next thing he knew, they were loving his music in Korea, and over there you can easily go from Korea to Philippines to Hong Kong to Thailand. It's all kind of very close. So now, obviously, the bands had turnover in members. You're the core captain of the team here. The band split up at one point. Tell us about the impetus to get the band back together. Who called who? What was your feeling? You were missing it?
No, I don't know exactly what happened, but me and Paul were kicked out. I think they wanted to go a different direction, which I think that means Mike and Kerry wanted to write more, because Jeff was always the main songwriter for the cool shit for Leatherwolf, and some of those guys had a problem with me and Paul. I'm not sure exactly what went down, and then they started this other deal, which it's stuff that I wouldn't have played anyways. Like in 1990, and then I got a call in 1999 from Kerry to go play at the Troubadour for Jennifer Perry's birthday party. So I said, sure, what the heck, went there, played some old Leatherwolf stuff. It was a cool little gig. And from there, we got invited to go play Whack In and a couple other festivals. And so then we did a local show, and it went off pretty good. We haven't played in probably like 10 years. And we played a couple shows, and it was a good draw. So so after that, me and Jeff wanted to make a record, and Mike and Kerry really had no desire, So Jeff and I just, we had day jobs. We just worked on that World Asylum thing, got a singer, got a bass player, and did it. And then after that thing came out, and it did semi well, at least for promoting the band and the style we were playing. That's when Mike and Kerry kind of sort of came back, and we started playing for a little bit, but then we just ran into just issues, just relationship stuff, and we just couldn't agree on things, and we just parted ways.
Right. So tell us about.
But me and Mikey, we stuck to it for a while.
Okay.
And we did a live record in I think it was 2012, 2013. And we just would play the old stuff, just go play like 5 or 10 shows a year just for the heck of it. And then in 2019 we were asked to make a record for Nuclear Blast, and basically Mike wanted to make it with some other people and didn't want to write with me. And I don't know. I figured that at least the original guys from Leatherwolf should at least have the opportunity to make a Leatherwolf record, So me and Mikey had a falling out right at that point, And then when you get around to this record, it was me, Kerry, Jeff, Rob Mapp, and Paul was gonna try to do it, but he lives in Colorado, so he couldn't pull it off. So we got Barry Sparks. But basically, Kerry got in trouble with the FTC, got convicted, and I still haven't heard from him. And me and Jeff had a falling out, so I got stuck after the bass and the drums were finishing the record. So I had to finish the vocals, the guitar parts, the triples, the harmonies, the second guitar parts, the melodies for certain parts, certain arrangements. Plus I wrote, Only the Wicked. I wrote that song, with the help of Robbie and Keith and Kill the Hunted. I wrote that one. And I don't know. Only the Wicked was a Jeff song, but I arranged it and wrote the words, and Robbie came up with the melodies and the verse melody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the song Nobody is something I came up with, and I handed it off to Kerry when he was still participating, and he came up with the guitar melody, and he came up with the chorus, and he came up with the idea to change the melody to what the chorus turned into, which was really killer. So, but that thing all started with me, and you know, I had an idea from an altered bridge song I heard for Nobody, and I talked to Pat Guyton a little bit and told him what I wanted, and we started putting something down and sent it off to Kerry, and then I just put it together, got Keith to write the verses, Robbie do the leads, and you know, turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of buzz, you know, on the record. Like I said, I interviewed Randy Burns talking about mixing it. He was excited about the output. I've seen other interviews you've done, and obviously it's a challenge these days. You know, people have short attention spans, and there's so much music out there. But it's not like the old days, you know, where people would be camped out at record stores waiting for the new release, and you know,
Yeah.
heading down to Tower Records and you know, filling a bag full of new product to come home with. But you know, obviously there's potentials, and you love what you do. Kill the Hunted is obviously a quality record. What do you guys, when you look at the lay of the land and you know the sound that you really aim for, what is the ideal band to tour with? You know, would it be a Judas Priest or Maiden or Scorpions? And I know that's a high bar, but
That would be the ultimate for us.
Yeah.
But you know, in this day and age, it's just anybody would be fine for us. You know, I talked to Tim Heine, and he goes, "Dude, you don't get a ride these days." You know, it was hard in the 80s and the 90s. Now it's a million times harder today. You know, to get on that stuff. You know, and Leatherwolf has never really got on a real tour, a real ride from anybody. Even Iron Maiden, you know, that tour they got on with Kiss, their first tour, you know, Epic had to pay Kiss like I guess 200 grand just to get him on that tour. But that tour, you know, got him going. You know.
Oh, it's well worth it. You know.
Oh yeah. In the long run, you know.
Yeah, they reap millions of dollars by, you know, obviously providing an alternative to Kiss and creating a buzz with the audience. And I'm sure Kiss benefited greatly by people that bought tickets just to see Maiden. You know.
Yeah, I think Kiss at the end of the day, you know, it didn't need anybody. You know, there's like Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden doesn't need anybody. They can just go on tour by themselves and sell out everywhere. You know, they don't need an opening act. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're a rarity. I mean, they're kind of one of one. You know.
Well, I think Judas could. Well, I don't know. Iron Maiden does better than Judas, but I think Kiss was way more popular back in the 80s. You know, and 70s.
Yeah, they had their day in the sun, and you know they're wrapping up, and so many of those bands from the era we grew up is they're either retired or members have passed on, or it's down to like just a slim version of what they used to be. But now with the addition of people like Rob Math, you know, and you know the guys you got playing in the band now, obviously you have a very very tight unit. So who do we have now? Is it Luke Mann on second guitar?
Yeah, and then Wayne Finley playing keys and on the other guitar, third guitar,
Okay.
and Keith Adamiak is singing.
Okay.
And we had Barry Sparks for the studio version, and then for live we got Bryce Snyder playing live. You know.
Okay. Now who was Keith singing for before? Do we know any of the
I know that he was in a band Ninja Gandhi or something like that, and he plays in a few different bands. You know, I was just working on some drum stuff, writing parts, and the guy that was teaching me the program, you know, that's right when I ran into problems with Mike, and I just go, I gotta find someone to sing, you know. and I wanted to get somebody that was more that could fill the spot, somebody that's voice would just fill the spot as a lead singer, you know, so people would just not I didn't have to deal with all the Mike Oliveri fans that are going to miss him, you know, but you know, they're going to miss him either way. So at least I wanted to replace it with somebody that could actually just, you know, fill the slot, you know, could write good words and could sing powerful, you know. And so it's kind of, he was I looked at two guys, and he was the one that I liked, but then he came over and he was and he sang Only the Wicked, and I was just like, okay, he's good. Let's see if he can write, you know, because me and Robbie had came up with the melodies and the words for 2 or 3 songs. So once he wrote like the word for nobody, the words for nobody, and the words for the henchman, and you know, we just go, he's good. You know, he's a younger guy, but he has potential.
That's great. Yeah, no, I know. That's one of the hardest things to find is that frontman vocalist, you know.
Well, especially when you're a drummer, you know, it's different if you're like the singer or something like that. You get a little bit more, little bit more clout, you know. You know, when you're just the drummer, you know, who are you? You're just playing other people's music, and I'm just like, you know, get out of here, man. I mean, just listen to the record, you know, check it out.
Yeah. Now, obviously, that amazing artwork that you have bestowed behind you there, who did that, and what was the concept? Did you tell them what you wanted, like a burning Armageddon, or what?
No, it was Mark Sasso, and Jeff Gayer had said, hey, you know, why don't we try a shield with something on it, you know, old school looking shield. So I called Mark and I said, hey, we're looking for just a shield type of piece of art, you know. And it wasn't going to turn out to be the main thing, because we did a bunch of other art too when you look at the record. But that one just kind of stuck, you know, shield with a wolf on it.
Yeah, well, it definitely screams metal, that's for sure.
Yeah, Mark Sasso. I just was like, you know, finally, you know, I'm really proud of the sound of this record and of the artwork. And there's no fluff here, you know. There's not like, you know, weak or cheesy artwork. It's just all pretty, you know, vicious, you know.
Has Mark done other covers we may have known?
Well, just look him up, Mark Sasso. He does Dio stuff. He's famous. He's huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
great.
done stuff for everybody. Mark
Sasso.
Sasso. Yeah. MARC Sasso.
Good to know. Well, I know obviously the festival season is coming up in the summer. I know you guys are trying to, you know, throw your hat in the ring wherever you can. Have you guys taken the music down south? I know obviously that stadium show, Def Leppard and Motley Crue, just played in Mexico City. I know, you know, there's a lot of fans in South America, but before you go that far down, I know Mexico City's got quite a metal scene. Have you guys talked to anybody about that?
We've been sending emails, talking to promoters, and no one's responding. And you know, like in South America, we got Rubicon, or I forget who we have in South America, but we got it. They're selling the record over there. I just don't know how they're doing, you know. But so far, no one's responded to us for any shows. So far.
Yeah, I know back in the day you had a lot of shows. What was once Gazzarri's became the Key Club, and the Key Club had a lot of metal, punk, hip hop. I mean, they would book stuff that the whiskey might be afraid to book. You know, they had their core of bouncers, and they weren't afraid to throw your ass out on the street, you know. So
yeah,
hardcore, you know, you name it, they had it. But obviously they ran into some kind of issues and went belly up. That building's been quite quiet since then.
Yeah, we played there once. I don't know. I don't know. Gazzarri's was killer. The whole vibe, the whole, you know, Mr. Gazzarri. It was just cool.
Godfather of rock and roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave Van Halen their shot. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
played there.
It was killer.
Now, obviously, you guys have the Galaxy Theater in your past, which is now called the Observatory.
Yeah.
What else? What was the history down there? What was it? Woodstock and Radio City, or what?
Well, Galaxy came along like late 90s. And it was Gary Faulkner who owned the Coach House,
Mm-hmm.
Woodstock was back in the 80s, and Radio City and all those smaller clubs, which were killer. We played with Metallica, we played with Slayer, we played with Dante Fox, which turned into Great White. We played with just a bunch of bands,
Yeah.
The Schultz brothers, the Schultz family used to put on those shows, so it was kind of fun.
But the Coach House guy sold out, and I guess the Galaxy's changed hands a couple times, probably since.
Yeah, he just sold it. I guess he just, he's getting older. Gary's, he's a really cool guy. I think he never told me the reason. I never really even asked him, but it was cool because we were always good for like, anywhere from 400 to 600 people. So we used to go there, play a couple times a year, and it would just be fun,
Yeah. Yeah, I think he sold out the Live Nation, I think runs those now. So
I'm not sure, I'm not sure what went down when they sold that whole business.
They have that observatory, and then there's one in I think they call it North Park down in San Diego. So they call that Observatory South.
Yeah.
So they've got two venues within like an hour or so of each other.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it is definitely a different scene. But if you, love what you do and stay on it, perseverance can definitely pay off. Now with the the current lineup, I understand that of course Barry used to play in Docket, and you even had Jeff Martin at one point in there. Different people. Do you get a lot of the old Leatherwolf fans, checking in? Or is there a way to reach them? Any continuity from the original?
Well, I set up a Facebook page a long time ago, so it's it was something I did, and I basically ran it, and so it's still there. So, and it's been going for like 15 years, so it's all those fans are also from the original guys to the changes, so everyone's been there, so there's I think there's like 10,000 people on that Facebook page.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it seems like maybe a couple other minded acts like yours. I know it's more challenging to tour these days, but even if you put together a maybe a string of 10, 20 dates maybe up the West Coast or across the Southwest, to Texas or something, seems through Colorado and New Mexico, seems like they're could definitely be a market. I mean, obviously Texas is a big rock market, and California and all that.
We're working on that right now because I mean we got Muncie from Skateboard Marketing, and he's got our stuff on like the music on TV. What's that music station? What is it called? Let me just see here real quick. It is called.
You talking about Music Choice?
Yeah, Music Choice.
Okay.
And I just saw it last night, so I know that they're playing it. So that means that there's some people here, And I think if we're gonna put some dates together in the United States in whatever way we can do it, and just see what we do,
Yeah, maybe two bands and then just pick up a local support in each town, something like that.
Yeah. Plus, we're getting played on certain radio stations, so those ones that are playing us a lot, when we go to that town, we'll just see if they can promote the show for us, See if we can actually get some people in a club.
Yeah. And obviously you want to get as much traction and action as you can off this album, but are you starting to think of the next record, coming up with song ideas, or just
me and Rob and Keith are just shooting ideas around right now, deciding if we're gonna or not. Odds are we are, but we have another record coming out like in 6 to 8 months, just old classic songs, a couple new songs that we are already recorded. And And we just did it when we were doing this, let this record come out, then like another 8 months later, some of the classic stuff will come out with Keith singing on it. So we got something coming out in the next few months, or it'll probably be after summertime.
Okay.
It's already done.
Yeah, it's in the can.
And we got a song like there's another instrumental with George Lynch and Rob Mapp and Joel Holstra playing on it, and we're gonna see if Luke can play on it too.
Yeah, how did that one come about? Something Rob generated, or
No, it was a melody Jeff came up with, and we were going to turn it into a song, but then I started thinking of it more of an instrumental. So I just said, you know what, let's just turn this into an instrumental, see what we can do with it. And then I had George play some stuff, and I had Joel Holster play some stuff. I thought, that's way better. It's a killer riff as a instrumental than it would be for like a song, with vocals and choruses and verses, in my opinion.
Well, obviously, as an instrumental, it opens up potentials for TV and film. Nice instrumental backing track to a action movie or some kind of great scene with, some cinematic qualities to it.
Yeah.
And is that going to be released individually, or is that part of the next record with the classics?
That's going to be part of the next record with the classic stuff on there.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, definitely you've got some good energy going here. Love to help spread the word, get people interested. I know, it's a different kind of business. What do you miss most about when you look back at the 80s? Things have changed so much, but what do you miss the most? Was it the freeform radio stations that played what they wanted, or the record stores that were just a thriving hub of the community? What do you miss the most?
What do I miss the most? Well, honestly, we were never like a super popular band. And so we didn't get to go on really cool tours for like a half a year or whatever and play in front of massive amounts of people. So it was just kind of cool playing the bigger shows, and and even before we got signed, playing all those parties like every weekend, that was fun for me, just going and setting up and playing for the fun of it, that was fun for me.
These are individuals that have like a backyard and have the band set up, or were you inside?
We played everywhere, dude. We would go to a backyard, we'd have a van, Steve Perkins, we'd load our stuff in there, just go to someone's backyard, set up and play. And then the party would get busted, we'd put everything in a van, go to another person's house, set up and play again. We knew a lot of songs when we were younger.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Especially
we used to play tons of parties. It was just fun. I think and then we went to the club scene, and it started changing a little bit. Now you have to have a show, you got to have originals, you got to be a little more professional. You got to be on time. So it's plus it costs money.
Yeah. Well, I know Irvine Meadows is gone, but they have the 5 Point Amphitheater, which would seem like, a touring package that would come through that needed local support. Getting on one of those, prime shows, a heavy rock show, would be, obviously
it would be the ultimate,
Yeah.
I mean, back in the 80s, we played at Irvine Meadows, and it was with Queensryche and Warrant, my friend Joey Allen.
Yeah.
And it was cool. It was a legit show. It was at a legit place. And it was just, it'd be nice to, go on a tour like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The outdoor sheds, they call them, the outdoor amphitheaters during the summer, Fiddler's Green and Denver and the Gorge up in Seattle area, and, Shoreline Amphitheater in the Bay Area. I mean, there's outdoor amphitheaters in every city, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, all of them.
We never got that lucky, dude. So we didn't. We'd go to certain spots and be able to play a bigger show, but we never got to go to every different city and play, in front of like 10, 15,000 people, in front of a real headlining band. I just think that would have really changed our career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, so I think the songs that were good. I think the recordings could have been better and not been so glammy, and maybe just get them more metal. Like the 2 records that I was responsible for, you can tell it's metal, you know. World Asylum in this one and the live record, you know, they sound metal, you know. There's no fluff to it. You know,
Yeah,
so
no, I hear you. I know in retrospect, you look at some of these labels like Island, maybe they meant well, but they didn't have that, that clout that maybe a Warner Brothers or an Atlantic or, one of
well,
those other labels that had a big, heavy rock department.
well, it wasn't. It's not the record label that picked Kevin Beamish. I mean, I would have much rather went back to Randy and say, "Hey, Randy, what are you doing, buddy? Let's go to the Bahamas and make a record." Because at least it would have stayed metal, you know. At least the tones, you know. But Randy, he was busy doing all that, you know, Creator stuff and Megadeth and all that thrash stuff, you know. And then he quit and had to, you know, raise a family. So I guess that's why he moved on. And he's a real smart guy, but he's one of the better recording engineers I've ever met. You know, he's got a really good ear, and he's got a very original way. You know, when he finishes something, you could tell he did it. You know.
Yeah, he came out of that, punk and dark metal and all that. So he knows how to keep it edgy.
Yeah, he goes classic metal, dude. This is probably the first classic metal I've done, and I think it's killer. I love it. He's like the nicest guy on the planet. Plus, he's very, very intelligent and very, very good with his ear. You know, way better than me.
Yeah. Well, that's the
You know,
thing
we're
these
recording
days.
stuff and we're doing stuff. He's going, dude, you got too much going on here. You know, you got all these parts and you keep putting more in there. I mean, can't you just let the melody of the rhythm guitar be the thing? You know, do you have to add a harmony? Does it need to be a double? Does it need to be a triple? Do you need to add another part to this? I mean, come on, guys. I just go, well, that's a good thought, but
Yeah, less is more. We listen to some of those classics and you got one strong riff, and maybe there's things that complement it, but it doesn't get too busy.
well, that's the thing is it's the songwriter, it's his opinion that matters. And everyone else has an opinion, and it's just the way it is. And there's no right or wrong. It's just when you're writing a song, what do you want? You know? And like when I do stuff, like play my drums and stuff, I mean, if someone has an opinion, I'll think about it for a second. And then if I like it, I'll use it. If I don't, I just go back to what I want to do, you know? Just like with songs, you know, people say this and that. And, you know, it was my first time dealing with doing guitar stuff and harmony stuff and thinking, okay, how would this, I mean, it happened in Spirits in the Wind, you know, would this part sound just with the riff and not the harmony? And so me and Robbie, you know, we did the harmonies and stuff, and then we listened to it without it. We go, you know what? The riff is just killer by itself. It doesn't need a freaking different melody with the harmony going. You know, kind of, I don't know, kind of made it sound cheesy. So I was like, you know, Randy, in this particular statement on this particular song, you're right. And he did it. Yeah, he also did the same thing for Apart in Thunder. You know, and I just go, you know what? You're right, dude. The vocals are, you know, ruling. Why put another harmony under the vocals? You know. But it was just interesting, you know, when you produce a record, you got people that have opinions about music, you know, you're trying to finish.
Well, that's why you need somebody outside the band with an open opinion. He's not tied to like wanting their instrument louder or, this.
Yeah, see, that was the thing with Randy I mean, me and Robbie just said, look at man, we don't want to babysit a mixer because at the end of the day, you know, a good mixer is going to just do his own thing. He doesn't need to know about levels. And that was the thing about Randy is once Randy did it, and we had Chris Carell did it, and you know Roy Z did it, and Randy's was just something we liked. And what we liked about it is we didn't have to tell him, "Well, turn the vocals up, and this part, turn the backups up." We said, "Look, dude, just do your thing. Just do your thing." And he would call like, "How's it sound?" I go, "Well, how's it sound to you?" He goes, "I think it's killer." So do we. Move on.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing. Well, we are super excited to spread the word. Want everybody to go check out Kill the Hunted. It is LEATHERWOLF coming back strong. You know him from all the way back in the 80s, but now is what matters. For those that want it real and raw, go check out. Of course, mixed by the one and only Randy Burns. Our special guest is Dean Roberts. He's the man behind the kit and the force behind Leatherwolf. So please go check them out. Tell your friends and stand by. There will be some live appearances coming. Thank you so much, Dean. It's always a pleasure. Look forward to charting the course and help us spread the word.
Yeah, thank you
Our
very
next
much for having us.
conversation.
And this record also, Rob Math, Keith Adamiak, Barry Sparks were big players on this being as good as it is.